Serena Tobaccojuice is one of Canada's longest-serving women inmates. And this footage admitted into court evidence is from 3 years ago at the Nova Institution Women's Prison in Truro, Nova Scotia, preventing 2 guards from leaving, grasping a pair of tweezers. This week, a provincial court judge in the case will sentence the 43-year-old after contemplating an extraordinary argument from her defense lawyer. Grant a convicted killer with a record of multiple prison hostage takings the most lenient sentence available for an adult in Canada, an absolute discharge. Tobaccojuice, a Cree woman from Saskatchewan, has been repeatedly shuffled from prison to prison during her nearly 3 decades of incarceration. She's been behind bars since she was 15 for murder, but has never applied for parole. The heart of her lawyer's argument in Nova Scotia court: her life has been shaped by horrifying events in childhood, racism in foster care, by the legacy of residential schools where most of her family were sent, and by years spent in segregation or in other forms of isolation in federal prison, some of which she described in an interview in Nova Institution.
The longest 3 straight years in Joliet, I had my own little cage. They got a little cage for me. They even made a whole room out of pretty much metal. I thought I was in purgatory eventually because I was alone. So I thought I killed myself in that cell actually, and I kept asking the staff members, am I real?
Still, an absolute discharge, essentially no sentence at all for confining 2 prison guards? That's something the union that represents correctional officers says would be hard to stomach.
Impact like that coming out of the courts would have a very negative influence on our staff.
Violence is rising in prisons, he says, and guards feel they no longer have the tools to hold inmates accountable.
It's a clear message that there's not much of accountability for inmates' actions.
The Correctional Service of Canada said in a statement that segregation was abolished in 2019, replaced by what are known as structured intervention units with independent oversight. The prosecution in the Serena Tobaccojuice case says she should be sentenced to 3 years. Her life has been tragic, the Crown says, but she's also inflicted much tragedy on others. And that includes multiple hostage takings between 2000 and 2013. Inmates, a guard, a nurse, some injured. Sometimes she's acted alone, sometimes with others, according to previous court decisions.
I was so young and I was afraid and because I was just 18 and I've heard horror stories as growing up, about prisons, and I guess I was trying to be like how the other women were.
Even if Serena Tobaccojuice receives an absolute discharge, she is still serving a life sentence for murder. Her eventual release, if ever, will be up to the parole board. She says she agreed to be interviewed because she says correctional officials should take medical complaints from women more seriously. She says people change and she's not dangerous. She says she was in agonizing pain the day of the incident at Nova Institution and wanted help. After 18 minutes of talking, the 2 guards retreat. Others enter. Moments later, it all ends. Richard Cuthbertson, CBC News, Truro, Nova Scotia.